All right, it's been a long day, and we are headed to the True Rest Flotation Spa.
Yes. So we'll
let you know how it is.
if we survive it.
Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on the journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney West
and Kelly Arundel. Feeling really relaxed and a bit salty.
Yes, just a bit salty.
That was fun.
But it was a great experience, and we'll be talking all about it very soon.
All right.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Sid.
How are you?
Thought I'd beat you to it.
I know.
I'm doing well.
Me too. I feel good. We'll kind of get into it, but having the float therapy last night was nice.
That was something else, yeah.
But first I want to comment on, so I really wonder how many people still do Wordle, because we do it with each other, and we text every day pretty much, unless it's busy, but most days we text each other our Wordle stuff. But I'm like, it was such a craze.
It was.
But is it anymore?
I don't know. It may be. Every once in a while I still see people posting it on Facebook.
See, I don't see that as much. Definitely not.
I don't, not all the time, but I do see it.
So I guess people still do it. They just aren't as vocal about it, I guess.
Yeah. I just
It was annoying. I'm sorry. It was so annoying when everybody would post on Facebook about it. I'm like, I don't care. This is for you.
Funny. Yeah.
I
know.
But I don't. So I use.
They like to post them when they're really good, you know. Sometimes you get lucky with a weird one.
Yes.
Get it the first or second.
You get the first or second time, yeah. I don't think I've ever gotten the first. I think I've gotten the second.
I got one. I think once. I'd have to look at my stats. But yeah.
And I do use pretty much the same word every day. I have like maybe a backup one if I'm like, my gut just isn't feeling this, but I use pretty much the same word every day.
I don't.
Do you switch it?
I switch it. And I'll switch. Sometimes I use trial or trail.
Don't tell everybody your answers, but that's
That's
okay. That's one
That's
of them.
my starting.
Oh, okay.
That's my start.
Okay.
And then I'll find something with an OU in it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I just kind of go, well, let's see if and then they'll be like nothing. But sometimes they will, you know? So it's just, I get tired of using the same one.
Oh, see, I just think like.
And sometimes I use an E. It just depends on what I want to do.
My word has not been good for me the past week.
That's why you change it.
I know, I should.
That's why you change it.
I know.
That's what I do.
I'm not one for change.
Yeah, that's the truth. And I got to switch it up. I get bored.
Yeah.
So.
And then, but we do that, and then connections we'll do.
Connections, I like that one. Sometimes it's like my brain is gone on that. And then every once in a while, what cracks me up on that one is I'll get them, and then, the last one is like leftovers.
Yes.
And I'll look, and I'll think,
I would have never gotten that.
Yeah, or sometimes I think four of them go together for a different reason than they say.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, well, I wouldn't have thought that, but I still think they go together. So I don't know. But I have fun with that one.
Yeah, or like in the last grouping is usually like, oh, what was it? It was like, one time it was like TV shows missing a letter. Or like this.
Sometimes I'm missing a letter.
Who's going to think?
Yeah.
I can't think that hard.
I don't either. That's why they're the leftovers.
Exactly. So I get everything else.
That's what I call them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
oh my gosh.
But that's fun. I still like doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know if you do Wordle. Let us know.
We want to see how popular it still is.
Yes. Okay. So last night we went and did our float therapy session.
We did.
Our little experience for our podcast.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was our first experiential one. We've got more lined up.
Yes.
But we
yeah.
Somebody had suggested, I think.
Yes.
Bernie did.
Yeah, and I had heard about it too. Yeah. And so you can think people will sometimes associate it with sensory deprivation, and you can make it that type of experience. You can have it in silence. You can have it totally dark. You can have, you have the floating anyway, so you won't have the scent feeling.
Yeah.
But you don't have to make it so deprived, because I think for me, that would freak me out if I had an entire hour of silence and darkness and I can't feel, and I'd be so disoriented.
Right.
But this, you can tailor it. You can have music on for all or part of the time. You can have the light on for all or part of the time.
Yeah. And we'll get, So we'll talk about what we chose and how we did that. But how did it start?
Yes. So I've got it.
Okay, good.
So it was 1954. This guy, John C. Lilly, who's a neuropsychiatrist, wanted to study sensory deprivation and the brain. So that's how these pods of this Epsom salt floating came about. Okay. And so that would, eliminate the scent, feelings, touch, sense. Okay. And then you'd have the, sense of sight and sound, because you would just be in this totally silent and totally dark area. And so they did all these. And of course, hippie movement. So it went on through the 60s. Okay. And then it was in 1973 that the first tank opened, and then I think it became a full-blown tank center in 1976 or something in Beverly Hills, California.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And so he was researching it. The float therapy initially kind of didn't have a great reputation, because this guy, so he was studying this, which is pretty fascinating, but then he was also studying how humans could communicate with dolphins.
Okay.
And there's a documentary, had a really weird research assistant, and then he was trying to telepathically connect with the dolphin. So it gave float therapy kind of a bad rap.
Yeah.
But then it got picked up again, when the tank, came out in the 70s, and then I think they were saying late 90s it kind of came back into fashion. So it's something that's gone in and out of fashion, but it has had a ton of research done in Europe, Sweden and stuff has really taken into it. And then of all places in the United States, there's one research lab that really focuses on float therapy and is using fMRI machines and EKG machines and stuff to really see how it's affecting people. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, that.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But that's where this research center is. And so now it's you can, any major city now has these float therapy places. And there are papers, we'll talk about the benefits, but there are legit peer-reviewed scientific papers, supporting that there are benefits to it.
Yeah.
And so, even though it's something that kind of, and to me even still sounds kind of hokey, it is something that can be beneficial. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the history of it.
Well, it makes sense too. You hear more about the sensory stuff now than we have in the past.
Yes.
And
definitely. And sensory processing disorder and all
that. Right. All that kind of stuff. And I know, so we went to a place here in San Antonio.
True Rest.
And there's several of them, but we just chose this one.
Yes.
True Rest, it's called.
Yeah.
And I do like their pods. They're
bigger.
Are 8 feet around, right? They're
8 feet wide.
8 feet wide. And so I didn't feel
No, and it's more circular, because sometimes if you look at pictures of these, it looks more like a clam.
Yeah, maybe we can put a picture in there.
Yeah, I'll put a picture. But these are more circular, actually what you think a pod.
Yeah, and before we went in, he talked about music. You can bring your own if you just need your own playlist. Yeah. They have, I think there were 6 to 8 different types. And Sydney, you chose to have it all music all the time. And I chose 20 minutes of silence. Yeah. And the rest was music. The music I chose was kind of like a sound bath, gongs and that type of Tibetan
and mine was
bells
more like spa.
Type,
mine was more like spa-like and had different rain, nature sounds and stuff too.
Okay, so we chose our different music.
Yeah.
And then when you go in, everybody has their own room with a shower, and you could choose your lighting, so you didn't have to have it dark. Yeah. And the way they're like clamshells or something. No, not quite clam. Anyway, they're round, so you can the way the doors open, you can leave partly open,
all the way closed,
you know, just
all
whatever.
The way
I
open.
left mine a crack open.
I had mine closed for most of the time, and
Did
then
you?
near the end, I kind of felt it getting stuffy, like the air was getting too hot, and so then I like cracked it a little bit.
Okay, I kept mine.
But I did
just
keep mine
cracked.
closed most of the time.
Yeah, but the light outside was dark. The room
Yes.
darkened as soon as the music started.
Yeah,
right?
and so it's a timed light, and so it's like, you know, after so long, then it'll go dark, so then you can have that fully dark experience if you want. And then anytime, like as soon as you open the doors, like the light would be switched on. So.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, mine was just cracked, so it didn't come on. And then inside, you could they had like a blue, a red, a green.
You can change the colors.
Different colors, lighting, real soft lighting.
Yeah.
Or
nothing.
Nothing. And
and there is an intercom inside the pod if you ever if you need them, or they need to come in for something, or you want your music changed or whatever it is. Like there is a way to communicate.
Yeah, there's a way to communicate, and you can go nude, or you can wear swimsuit, just whatever you're comfortable with. And I know when I started, now I was laying there at the beginning, I had the lights on, and then I was wondering, can I trust it in the dark? Because you can move around, you know, you might float a little bit away from the controls, so then you have to
find them.
Yeah. So when at first I went dark.
Yeah.
But I held on to the side. So that I could know where. And then I thought, okay, trust the dark, Kelly, trust the dark. And so I did.
Yeah. Did you keep it dark the whole time?
No, probably half of it.
Okay, haven't.
Because I had it on for a while. I thought, let me do the dark.
I think I kept it
and
on.
I think I liked the dark.
Mine was maybe just a little bit, maybe like a third of it. I kept dark. Yeah.
Yeah, and
then I you feel yourself blowing it, and I got a little. I can get motion sick on an airplane. You know, if I can't see out that we're moving, I need to like have something. And so I was like, I don't want to get nauseous, so I had to turn the light on so I could see what was happening.
Right, and you know, the thing is, if you go, I've had enough, you can get out and leave at any time.
Yes, you can.
It's not a big deal.
No.
You know,
but the Epsom salt feel was interesting. What, 1,200 pounds or something? Because it's like the Dead Sea, you know. It's like you are fully in it, and like they did have almost like a little neck pillow thing you could have.
Oh, that's right.
Because he said some people like won't really just succumb and relax into it, and so that kind of just helps them. I used it for a little bit, but I didn't like it. It kind of made it worse. But I definitely felt like one of the benefits is muscle relaxation, and like I totally felt the whole time like my upper body, shoulders, neck had to have been just so tense and sore, because I would give in to the water and be like breathing, and I really had to, almost like that body scan meditation. I would like think about each part of my body, relaxing all the muscles, and then especially for my upper body, I would just have to breathe. And they say they have a little video beforehand explaining it, and they say like, you'll probably feel parts of your muscles as sore, but you have to just let it and breathe into it and let the Epsom salts do their work. But by the end of it, I would say I definitely felt a lot looser.
I really enjoyed it. Most of it. About 5 minutes before the music came back on, I was going, okay, I'm about ready. And they gave us little earplugs, so the water doesn't get in, you know. But I toward the end, and then at the very end, when the music started, then I started like bouncing around. I'd push my feet off and hit it with my hands. And
I never thought to do that.
You didn't?
No.
I was like, let me just roll around. Yeah, so that was fun. But
oh my gosh. And I think it's an experience, like, if you really wanted to get into it, like, I think the totals, you'd have to work towards the deprivation, because I think it's really difficult to just totally give in like that from the very start.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you got into, I think like you could work your way up. You could, you know, they have different time starts for the music if you want. So you could always adjust that. Then you can adjust how long you keep it dark. You can, you know, it's something that you can tailor, which I liked.
I think so too, because I thought that too. I thought the next time it'd probably be a little more comfortable and a little more trusting and a little more. Okay, I'll just lay here.
I know, you would think the trust thing is so weird. You're like, I'm in this totally controlled environment, fully controlled environment. Okay, but can I trust to just sit there in dark and silence?
Well, I think part of it is because the only thing we have is ourselves.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah.
Where is my brain gonna go? And then I went, this was midway.
Yeah.
maybe a little past, because we were in there 50 minutes, right?
Yeah. Or no, an hour.
An hour. There was a 5-minute beginning kind of.
Yeah.
And 5 at the end.
Yeah.
But so it was probably midway, a little more. I thought, oh, there's this koan, and basically it's somebody. Well, why did you come? You're from the South. Why did you come here? And the answer is, I came for no other reason than this. Why have you come here? For no other reason than this. So I started doing that in my head. Why? For no other reason. I'm here for this. What is this? Whatever this is.
Oh my gosh.
Right? It's so just deep. To be here and to totally succumb to the water and the support, and that's why you're here. So just don't go anywhere else in your head.
I know that my mind really, and that would take practice too, is my mind really did wander. I mean, because we talked early on about how do you silence your mind, set a timer for 1 minute. This is a whole hour. So I definitely, my mind would definitely go, and then I'd be like, okay, Sydney, get back to your breathing. Let's focus on relaxing your shoulders. How are they feeling now? And then I'd okay, let's focus on my, breath, and then let's focus on, I try and I don't know, kind of come up with little mantras as I went through, and it's what am I wanting to get out of this? Let's think, and
And once
so you really I had to bring my mind back.
I did go, and that's why I think if somebody needed to have their playlist that they get lost in,
you could
do that. If it would make your body relax. I mean, there's no rules, right?
No,
I mean, the idea is you can do this.
Yes.
It's a stress relief. It'll lower your blood pressure.
Yeah, so a lot of the benefits have to do with muscle relaxation and mind relaxation, of course. Yeah. Because with that weightlessness, your muscles don't have to do a thing when they're in there. They're not holding anything up. They're not having, it's you could fully relax.
It's only 10 inches of water, so you're not going to go.
No, it's not like a deep pool, please. Yeah. But I know a lot of, they say athletes will do it to recover. Steph Curry apparently swears by this. He will visualize his basketball shots while he's in float therapy, so then he's better at them in practice. And there apparently has been a little bit of, not a ton, but I think a little bit of research on how you can do better by how much better you can get by doing that visualization stuff. And then he does this float therapy and then does that to be a better basketball player. And then
because that guy, the gentleman there at the I guess he's the owner there of that location, was saying that he has a 65-year-old triathlete that comes in, and this is her recovery.
Crazy. And then they're having studies too on reduced anxiety and reduced depression. I feel like I think anxiety for sure, because you're kind of just forced to be in this place of breathing, and then it does bring your blood pressure down. Physically, they've shown that just being in this pool of water, it just, your body physically will reduce its blood pressure. So, and then depression, but I almost think you'd have to do it with a therapist's help in some way, or a therapist telling you maybe these are things you should focus on. Because I feel if you're a depressed person and you're just thrown into this float pod by yourself, I don't know if that's it necessary.
Could be, and I don't know. And everybody's so different how their mind will, what they need for that.
Yeah, but supposedly that's good. And then the magnesium in the Epsom salt is apparently really what does a lot of the work, because that helps detoxify your skin. It's absorbed through your skin, so it helps detoxify your body, and then helps take the lactic acid out of your muscles, and that's why you can relax so much. Yeah. And your benefit is your skin is super soft too. But that was pretty, but it's the magnesium in the Epsom salt that just helps take all that out through the skin.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, so those are most of the benefits of it. And I could see, it's not this is something that everybody can do, because it's not it's cheap. We got a 2-for-1 deal.
We got a 2-for-1. We just happened to be looking online.
And it was
prior to Mother's Day, and it was they have a Mother's Day special, 2-for-1. I was we're there. So that helped.
And so, they have memberships and stuff. But it's it was the cheapest one was $65 a month. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah. At least for this one.
And that was for one time, right? And then you could have a membership where
2 or 3 people could be on it.
Right. So you had 3 a month, but different people can use it.
Yeah.
So it's not just okay, I have to go 3 times.
And so
Paul could get Lauren.
I'm guessing they're doing that because then they think, oh, well, if this cost seems too much, you could split it with somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, And so there are those options, but it's not like a cheap thing. But I could see like if you're already investing in your
it's like a massage or some other thing that you might spend money on, a pedicure or whatever.
Yeah, that's true, because it does cost about that much anyway.
It runs up there.
So it just depends on what your
needs are, right?
Yeah.
But it would be a fun thing to try, I think, with friends.
Oh yeah.
To both go and then afterwards.
Oh yeah, and then this place afterward had a cool recovery. Yeah.
You go into this little lounge and they had some really good tea.
Yes.
That you sat and drank, and then they had oxygen things. I don't know that I'd pay for that, but
no, it's part of it.
Yeah, that was the beginner experience. I think that next time, I don't know. Maybe you don't. I don't know, but it didn't do much for me.
Yeah, it's like you're supposed to help your body absorb more oxygen. It's like supposed to bring in more, and then they had some scents and stuff. It was okay.
Yeah, lavender and different things like that.
It didn't seem to do much for me, but yeah, but it's there. And then they had just like a little sitting reading area, and you could just which I think is good.
Recover before you rather than just getting up and going and starting back out into the world, just easing back into it. Because you're I was very relaxed afterwards.
Yeah. And so I thought that was nice to have that little area. For sure.
That was good.
Yeah. So I think it's something, that I would do, that would be cool to do again, and just experiment. And
I think I would try it a little. I think I would go again.
Yeah.
And try it. And I don't know about a membership. Maybe. It may be worth it because it would, lessen it.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to sign a contract.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm not into that.
But I feel like, maybe if you're recovering, I don't know if you're in physical therapy now.
Yeah,
so I
I'm
don't
thinking
know
about
if it
that.
could help
I'm thinking that it might.
With that type of healing.
Because my muscles get all tense because you're working on this one area and even though you're doing stretches, you're doing stuff. I'm wondering if that would help.
Yeah. Or I don't even know, I don't know if you're recovering
just to relax
from,
it.
Who knows, a knee replacement or something. And then that would be a time when your knee doesn't have any pressure on it. I don't know if
That'd
could
be
help
something to look into.
Know?
Yeah, I mean, there's
or if you pulled a muscle, that could be a thing to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems interesting.
Just to be able to relax completely.
Yeah.
Was good.
But it was interesting, to just be by yourself with your thoughts.
I know, and I truly think that's a scary thing.
Yeah, it is.
Because I do a lot of that, but it was this was different. I was in this. Am I gonna feel enclosed? Am I gonna feel?
Yeah,
but I'm thinking I've had MRIs, and at least it's not pounding on me.
Yes.
I mean, but it took me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was okay. And it was funny because it was do I trust the darkness? That was really, Kelly, you're in this pod. What is going to happen?
What is going to happen?
You can find the button. If you need the button. Yeah. You'll find, but it was kind of a.
Yeah. It was a weird, it was good, but weird. And.
Yeah.
And it's logically, I don't know. I think about this, being by yourself, why logically should that ever be a scary thing, but it is.
It is.
That is, it just boggles
because you can't deflect.
Yeah,
you can't deflect.
And I feel
I guess we can't even with ourselves, but
I think you can. But I feel for some reason when you're just in a situation like that, or you just intentionally take the time, it's harder to lie to yourself.
Yes.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah, and here it says This says increased creativity. It says sensory deprivation allows the mind to enter into the theta state.
Yes,
with lower frequency brain waves.
Yes.
Similar to dreaming.
And that's what makes the time go by
into this. Now, you said you kind of dozed off and fell asleep.
I think I did for just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I think I did.
I think I got in a little bit of a zone where, before you go to sleep type of thing.
Yes.
And
they say because the 60 minutes, I mean, it definitely didn't feel like a full 60. It felt like a little long, but it didn't. I wouldn't say it felt like a full 60.
And then they talk about different positions.
Yes.
Having
your hands up, or
and
one up
and one down.
And then the plank, so both hands down, or you could do
this
the
what
dead man's mummy pose.
Try your own, and so I did play around with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because one was for the upper body and the shoulders, so I thought I need to do that one. So I did that for a bit. And
then moved. But then it felt
my arms were so heavy when I tried to move them.
Yes.
It's I couldn't hardly lift them. Right.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So that was a cool experience. But it's just this idea that being alone can be
that's an interesting thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to have to sit with that later.
Well, I know, because you think about what is so hard about that?
What's so hard, right?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But everybody is so different in
Everybody's
that.
so different. Yeah.
You know, some people are real analytical, and so they just love that. But then the danger of that, because I'm an analytical person, and my brain can just think too much.
Yeah.
And when it's just me in that, you know, and that's why a mantra or something to make me go, yeah, why are you here? No other reason than this. You're here. What is that reason? Oh, to relax myself.
Yeah. And then you
my
focus
brain,
on it.
and just let myself be taken care of in this pod.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yes.
You know, and
one thing I'd always think about, because the water, it's going to hold you. And so I just think the water has me. And I do yoga with Adrienne.
Yeah.
And one thing she always says, the yoga mat always has your back, you know, because you lay on it.
Right.
It's always got your back. And so I just thought about that with the water. I was like, it's got me, you know?
It does, yes. And it's kind of funny how that does. You're like, this is just
you just let it totally go.
Yeah, and just let yourself feel because you're laying there still, but there's subtle movements of the water.
There's subtle movement, yeah.
But there's not a lot, you know, and it's like, just allow yourself to feel that.
Yes.
Slow movement.
Yes. Definitely.
So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's something I would do again and hope to do again, you know.
If you have questions about it or more, you can reach out to us and we'll give you more info for sure.
Right. No, like I said, I know we went to True Rest, and they have them.
I know
several
Dallas,
in Texas and Austin,
Houston,
and then there's some in Atlanta. There's one in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
there's some in Arizona. There's
and then there are different, you know,
and there's other
and
ones too. There are plenty of other ones out there. I liked the pods.
Yeah, these pods were nice.
Some of them look more like a clam.
Like a clam, yeah.
I didn't like the way that opened like a trunk or something.
Yes,
of the hood of
that's
your car.
what it. Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that. So these just slid to the side.
Yeah, and had like little sliding doors.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah, and they gave you this little spray bottle inside.
Yes.
On a ledge was a little spray bottle and
of clean water and a little.
Yeah, and with a washcloth in case you touched your face or your eyes and got water in them.
Because that would be
So
awful.
They think of just about
they think
everything.
about just everything.
Everything is very cared for and there for you.
Definitely.
And it was great.
Cool.
So
that's our first experience podcast.
Yes, I think in July in July.
In July. We'll have an episode.
We're going to do a sound bath.
Yes.
With singing bowls, and I'm not sure what all she has. I've gone to one, but
yes,
I don't know what all she
It'll
the
be
instruments.
Cool.
But we're going to try that out.
Yes, and maybe hopefully come up with one more kind of like a little summer thing.
Yeah, if you have an idea of something,
please let us know.
It's about growth.
It is.
Out of your comfort zone. Here we go.
But yeah, so please let us know on Instagram. You can email us. But definitely still check out our website and rate and review our podcast wherever you listen, or on YouTube. You can always comment and we'll see those. And then next time we will be talking about kind of like not social anxiety, but in the sense of like being prepared for social situations, maybe some social fears you have, or just being able to be more comfortable.
Yeah. What are your thoughts when you're invited to a party? What goes through your head?
Yes.
And it's not just your besties.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll kind of talk about how to deal with that next time. Yeah.
So we look forward to being with you next Tuesday when we take a breath and take a listen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us, and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.